Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to Rams Insider. After a bye week, we are back with one of my best friends in the industry, Chris Alvarez from KGO ABC 7. Chris, great to see you. Just another 49ers Rams game, right?
Yeah, great to see you as well. And I'm glad I got promoted to like one of best friends in the business. I am right there with you. Same thing.
Well, Chris and I have known each other for quite some time with all the rivalries between the Warriors and the Lakers. Certainly the Dodgers and the Giants was huge last year and the past couple of years. Why is it that Kyle Shanahan has won 7 straight in the regular season? Sean McVay just can't figure it out in the regular season. You work for ABC 7. I work for ABC 7. Is it going to stop at 7? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, Nick Bosa said it today. He said both teams' backs are against the wall. And you could say that's true. A lot of expectations were high going into this season. We thought they'd be at the top of the NFC West. And right now, the Seahawks, what's going on in the Cardinals? So the division doesn't look like anything like it did last year. But to answer your question, I think there's been a formula for the 49ers in this regular season window of the 7 wins. It's been physicality, running the ball, and really keeping the ball away from the Rams. We know how many talented players they have and high octane and can quickly strike with Matt Stafford and when they're healthy. And again, this is the same thing too. Both teams are banged up, but I think the Niners in this stretch of 7 games, it's been about ball control, time of possession, and getting some costly turnovers, a couple interceptions of Matt Stafford, especially in the last couple of games, as you've seen, have gone for pick sixes. So I think it's been that formula. Everything's kind of clicked, and the Niners have held that ball and kept it away from LA.
Well, people who watch Rams Insider every week, we have a guest, Chris, on every week. And I just want to make sure, since people in San Francisco will be seeing this too, can you see the Super Bowl banner? Okay. Can you see that? That it's right back there.
I see one. Okay. Yeah. I see one. Oh, man.
Good comeback. All right. Yeah. So you talked about great athletes on the Rams side. There's this kid from Colorado who I covered, his dad, named Ed McCaffrey. His son's pretty good, named Christian. What in the world? What was that like for 49er Nation? And I know this is his first full week. What's the chat up there?
Well, I think everyone's really impressed with what he did in the 48 hours. He lands in the Bay, comes back. He's a Stanford kid, as you well know. And I know his dad, he's obviously got the bloodlines. There's a connection between the Shanahans and McCaffreys through all of the years.
Yeah.
And they've been very impressed with what Christian has been able to do. He had 10 touches, in Sunday's game against the Chiefs, 62 yards. But just to even get in the game and to make the plays he did, I think was impressive in the short amount of time. He literally lands off the plane, gets a physical, give me that playbook, and they put a package in for him. Now, as you mentioned, his first full week of practice getting ready for a game. We saw him at practice a little bit today. You could see he was working with the running backs coach, Anthony Lynn, getting on trying to get on the same page as everybody. And even the guys said last Sunday after the game, he doesn't even necessarily know the playbook. It's going to be almost impossible to know the whole playbook, but they can just say, whatever the play call is, Christian, hey, you're going to run to the left, you run a slant, whatever it may be, he'll be able to figure it out. And he is a game changer when healthy. That has been some of the issues with him over the last couple of years. But if he's healthy, he's another dynamic weapon for this 49ers team that's trying to move forward offensively because they've been struggling a little bit of late.
Yeah, it sounds like the Rams. And you mentioned Anthony Lynn, former Charger coach, one of my all-time favorite people, persons in the industry, in the business. Chris, one of the things when you guys got the deal for McCaffrey, I shouldn't say you guys, you're a journalist, but the Niners, when they got the deal, it reminded me of the Rams a year ago from the standpoint they're pushing their chips all in. You've got what I consider arguably the best defense in the NFL when healthy. Do you feel like that move was this is our all-in move?
It feels like it, and you think about what the Rams have done, and they're kind of taking a little bit of LA's playbook. They've mortgaged the draft, said, we don't care about those draft picks. Let's get guys that have proven players, veterans, and it ended up in a Super Bowl last year for LA. So I think San Francisco's thinking the same thing. They have a window where they think their guys are at the right age, at the right talent level. We've seen what the Niners can do when healthy in 2019. So close to the Super Bowl. We know that season. Then the COVID year was kind of a mess for them. Last season, they lose to the Rams in LA in the NFC Championship after going on a really good run. But I think they did push all of their chips to the table because they have a team they think is built to win right now, and they're going to test it and see what happens in the second half. But it's a really big game for the Niners trying to go into the bye week and get kind of healthy and ramped up for the second half. And it starts with LA on Sunday at SoFi.
Well, it's interesting you say that. That's exactly the Rams mantra a week ago. They were saying we somehow got to beat Carolina, get healthy. That was the whole press conference as we record this on a Wednesday. That was the whole press conference Wednesday was, hey, we're healthier. They're not exactly where they want to be, but they're significantly healthier. They get Van Jefferson back. But when I look at that Niner defense, update us on their health. Update us on who I consider is, one of the greatest players in the NFL, and Nick Bosa.
Yeah, Nick Bosa's back, so that's the good thing. He came back after dealing with some stuff in Atlanta, that back-to-back East Coast trip. He looked good at practice. He's a specimen just physically looking at him. He's so good off the ball, and he's really coming back from that ACL injury. Eric Armstead's still questionable with what's going on with him. He's got some different leg ailments. Kyle Shanahan was a little bit vague on what's really bothering him, but he's out in the middle. Azeez Al-Shaair has been hurt. The linebacking Dre Greenlaw, we don't know what's going to happen with him. Fred Warner's still there. Jimmy Ward has the broken hand. Talanoa Hufunga's been through concussion protocol, and he's been a real nice surprise, a USC kid.
Yeah.
He looks like a young Troy Polamalu, does he not? I mean, he is so fun to watch and been such a revelation there. Jason Verrett, he's working his way back from the ACL. He may play this week, but it's probably looking like after the bye gives him a couple more weeks. So the Niners, they're mixing and matching at a time you really don't want to be, but that's the NFL, and it's going to be the Rams this week. So we'll wait and see what happens on Sunday.
You said Kyle Shanahan was a little vague regarding an injury. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. I think that's every coach in the league, though. For sure.
Hashtag sarcasm. When you think about this Niner team, one of the things, and I know we joke around a lot, and I really mean this, I have as high of respect for Kyle Shanahan. And admittedly, I worked for his dad when his dad was coaching the Broncos, and for a very short time. So I've always been a Kyle Shanahan fan. He went to Cherry Creek High School. Nice. And I have so much respect for him. But tell me this. When I look, and I'm coming into the season, and I'm thinking, that's their biggest threat. I really believe that. But when I look at what the Niners have done this year and their convincing wins, I'm more concerned they lost to the Bears. Okay, sloppy bowl. They lost to Denver, who can't score points. They lost to Denver.
Yeah.
And then obviously everybody loses to Kansas City, it seems these days. But then they lost to Atlanta, and I know Kyle sat guys. Give me the feeling around, not so much in the news people, the fans. Are they worried that is Kyle maybe not the guy, or is it still in Kyle we trust?
If you're talking about the fans, and I bet you can imagine, it is every play or something new. So when it's a win, Kyle's a genius. When it's not, he's not a genius, and they want to do something else. So that's kind of the nature of the fans and Twitter, and not necessarily real life, but the fans they're very emotional here. They're very, it's been a Trey Jimmy thing ever since Trey Lance was drafted. So now with Trey injured, unfortunately, that's, pushing, you have Jimmy Garoppolo quarterback, but even then you'll see some fans say things about Jimmy Garoppolo when at this point, he is your best option, and he has been a proven winner. And you've even heard guys like Joe Montana, who spoke at Alumni Weekend on Sunday, said it was a good thing they kept Jimmy Garoppolo for numerous reasons. Obviously, the injury kind of puts it to the forefront, but Jimmy has just won. And even Joe Montana, the GOAT, said he's a winner. So there is something to be said about that. And you kind of watch the guys over the year, at least with Jimmy Garoppolo, there's something that he does to captivate the locker room. Is he the most talented guy? That's up for debate. And you could say other players like a Trey Lance, they have naturally better gifts, whether it's the arm, the age, the leg, the mobility. But Jimmy, his winning percentage is very, very high, and he has taken them to deep postseason runs. So to answer your question, the fans are very emotional. It depends on if they win or lose. On every play, you see all kinds of fun stuff. So right now, he's a little bit in the doghouse if you're talking about the fans, but a win against the Rams could cure all things on Sunday.
We're talking with Chris Alvarez from KGO, our sister station, as the Rams host the 49ers this Sunday at SoFi Stadium. Chris, I want to go a little bit deeper on Jimmy. You said the locker room. I'm the outsider. Honestly, I'm not that play Trey Lance. And my friends down here who are big-time, long-time San Francisco 49er fans talk about maybe he doesn't throw the deep ball. Is he throwing, A, the deep ball better since the surgery, and B, specifically the locker room? Boy, outsider looking in, it sure seems like guys really play for that man.
Yeah, they really do. And I think you saw part of it when he came in that Seattle game after Trey was hurt. You got to quickly move on. And Jimmy ended his day with a quarterback sneak, and the way the guys kind of rallied around him and hit him on the helmet. And you could just see the joy was there. And in that Seattle game, and we're going back to week 2, he was an instant spark as far as pushing the ball down the field. It's not the big deep ball, but it's the quick. His skill set is getting the ball out fast, getting to the playmakers, because the Niners have some of the best yards after catch guys in all the league, arguably the best guys from a skill standpoint. With now you have McCaffrey, you have Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk's hurt with the broken pinky, not going to play this week. But there's so many guys. He just gets the ball, and he's good at that. Especially on third down. It seems like a lot of plays, I know where the plays are going, some sort of slant in the middle, but somehow he gets it done. They have tried to push the ball down the field in previous weeks. Even that Atlanta game, there was a couple really big drops where they had tried to push the ball down the field. So you can't put it all on Jimmy, but the offense is really work the middle of the field, have manageable third downs, and he's very good at that and getting the ball because he knows this offense. He's been in it for so long.
Yeah, he's so efficient. And that, like we were talking earlier, that matches up so well against the Rams because it keeps them off the field. And they just dink and dunk all the way down. And efficiency is part of the big name of the game. Now, I want to ask you, from a defensive standpoint, going into the Kansas City game, the Niners were averaging less than 15 points given up a game, number 1 in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then, Patrick Mahomes hangs a lot of points on everybody, but he hung 44. Take me deeper. Was there a chink in the armor? Was it injuries? Was it, no, it's Patrick Mahomes, all the above, none of the above? What do you think there?
I think it was injuries. I think it was Patrick Mahomes, and the 49ers, unfortunately for them, they couldn't get off the field on third down. And that was a huge play. They gave us some huge third down plays, a 3rd and 20, a 3rd and 11. They had optimal situations defensively and couldn't make the tackle or couldn't make the play. So it was a combination of all of those things, but definitely a frustrating day for San Francisco. And then everything kind of just got away late. But Patrick Mahomes is one of the best players in the league.
No doubt.
He showed why once again. And the Kansas City has so many playmakers as well. Mahomes knows how to get it to those guys. But it was a combination of a lot of things. They're going to tell you no excuses. They got to make those plays. They hopefully corrected those plays in film. And now they go against the team, as Kyle Shanahan said, there's no secrets here. You're going up against each other. So now it's more about physicality and who can impose their will this week. And that's what it's going to be, because unless there's a trick play, which, someone probably is scheming up, whether it's McVay or Shanahan, we all know what this is going to be. It's probably going to be a close game, and it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, and probably a third down conversion or a turnover would probably, decide the game.
No question. And from the Rams standpoint, game 7, they'll have their 7th different offensive line.
Wow.
At least they get Brian Allen back as their center. I want to ask you, from a overall perspective, I love when we do this Rams Insider. It's not just about the Niners. It's about San Francisco, Los Angeles, which, let's face it, it's the Hatfields and the McCoys, right? The Dodgers dominate the regular season. So happy the Giants don't make it. And the Dodgers won one more playoff game than the Giants this year. Golden State wins the NBA Finals, obviously. The Lakers didn't even make the playoffs. Now it's supposedly, the Clippers should threaten.
Right.
Give our viewers a pulse of what it's like covering sports in San Francisco. They know what it's like down here. What's it like there? What's the alpha dog? Is it 1A, 1B, or is it completely distant among all of them?
I mean, I think everything revolves around who's winning at the time. And if the Giants were in the playoffs in the World Series, it would be all about the Giants. And you still know about the Niners and the Warriors and all the other teams here. So, but I would say, when all things are right, this is probably a 49ers town. If all things were considered, the Warriors have made a big push of late with that and the dynasty that they've built. But there is, as you well know, anywhere you go as an LA sportscaster, an LA team, there's a beat LA no matter what. You can be the Boston Celtics, you can be the Oklahoma City Thunder, you can be the Atlanta Braves, whatever sport it is, that beat LA chant sounds very good for, I guess, the opponent. And the Giants love to have that. You hear it a lot. Every time the LA teams come, we all know whether they're good, whether the LA teams are doing well or doing poorly. Those games mean a lot. And same thing with San Francisco. It's the old cliche. You throw the records out when these teams play each other because their rivalries are so strong and there's so much history. And right now, at least with football, you got two teams that are kind of meddling at the moment.
Yeah.
Could make a run and then maybe eventually see each other in the playoffs. So we'll wait and see. It's always fun because we get to hop on and talk about it. And I hope, sometime in January, we're going to do one of those shows where we have a half hour to talk about Niners and Rams, and we'll wait and see. And this game could go a long way eventually if they have to play each other of who hosts. And right now the Niners have a 1-0 advantage, and then you'll start getting to tiebreakers if LA wins this weekend. So we'll wait and see, but it is fun. And the Beat LA chant is always strong when these teams play, especially here in the Bay.
Final thing, give me a prediction. I'm going to ask you it in the way Nick Bosa told you today. Nick Bosa said both teams are against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Completely agree with that, even though I don't think there's a Rams player that would admit that.
Mm-hmm.
But with the math and what Seattle's doing, so what's your prediction here Sunday?
Oh, let's go with 49ers 27-21 in a game that's going to be decided in the fourth quarter. Like I mentioned, I think something's going to happen one way or the other, whether it's a turnover or a big third down conversion or not. I think it's going to come down to the wire. And these games seemingly have. The game at Levi's in week 4 did not, but it was close for a little bit there. So we'll wait and see. I was kind of surprised at how that game went on the Monday night when you were up here just a couple weeks ago.
Okay, I'm going to go Rams 23-20 only because Sean McVay has had 2 weeks. And
that's a fair point. Yeah,
that they've ever been. So,
yeah,
Chris, always a pleasure, brother. All right, Chris Alvarez, Channel 7, KGO, if you're in the Bay Area. My brother, thank you very much. We'll chat again soon.
Thanks, Curt. Enjoy the game on Sunday.